Oh, testing, 有冇聲? Okay, so boys, welcome back to part 3 of our chapter 22, chapter 23 video. Okay, now this time we are going to look at another type of questions that is very common in examination. Okay, 好啦，我哋望望啦。好嘛? Now I call it a type 2 question. Now, what is so different about type 1 and type 2? Remember, when we talk about type 1 question back in our last video, we talk about 1 unit of resources doing how many goods. Now this time is just the opposite. We are talking about 1 goods requiring how much resources. Okay, now I think it's quite difficult to understand by just looking at the wordings. So let's put it into some actual number and table for our easy presentation. Okay, 好啦，睇下呢條啦。17年43條. Now the following table shows the number of man hour. Remember, man hour is one of the most common resources that they use, required by country A and country B in the production of toys and watches. Okay, now here, remember, we use our own table. We construct a table in order for easy answering. 係嘛嗱？你要熟習點樣用呢個 table 啦，好嘛？嗱 we have country A, country B, and then we have toy, we have watch. Okay, 好嘛 ？Toy, watch. Remember the middle column, we call it resources, right? And the goal here, 打晒先講，好嘛？ Now, country A, 1 toy, 4 resources. 1 watch, 8 resources. Now versus country B, 1 toy, 5 resources. Here, 1 watch, 20 resources. Now remember, the goal is that within the country, 喺國家自己裏面, they need to have a so-called equalize, 係咪? The resources of the 2 goods needs to be equalized before you can start doing any calculation. Okay, 嗱記住啊，係國家自己啫。We are not talking about cross country, right? But within the country. Say for example here, 4 and 8 not equal. So let's make it equal. 點整一樣啊？乘2咪得咯，乘2咪得咯，係咪啊？ Also here, 5, 20. How do we equalize them? 乘4咪得咯，係咪啊？乘4咪得咯。Now finally, you see, resources has been equalized and we can do our usual work. 係咪？只要 equalize 就做到嘢啦。Our usual work. You will see from this table, 1T would be 0.5 watch, or 1 watch would be 2T. Now for country B, 1 toy would be 0.25 watch, and 1 watch would be 4 toy. Okay, now so this is a type 2 question. Now, after that, it would exactly be the same. After you equalize the resources, you see the steps are exactly the same, right? 好啦，咁我哋知道啦。Country B would export watch because they have a comparative advantage 喺度，係揾到啦。Okay, and country A would export watch. Country B would export toy. Okay, now so assume, let's say the terms of trade here. The terms of trade that we currently have would be 1 watch equals to 3T. Okay, so let's see. Country A's gain per unit of export of watch. Remember, country A export watch would be, now remember, by exporting watch, they get free toy, but the opportunity cost of making watch is 2 toy. Therefore, they gain 1 unit of toy. Now, what about country B's gain per unit of import of watch? It would be here, 3T, no, actually, 4T minus 3T, and that would give us 1 toy. Okay, 咁啱啦，今次咁啱啦。So the total gain will be 2 toy, which, how do you find it? Actually, you do not need to have 1T plus 1T. You just use 4T minus 2T. and you get the total gain. 個 range 就係佢哋嘅 total gain 㗎啦，好嘛？ So this is type 2 question. You see, compared to type 1 question, you only do one extra step, equalizing resources within the country. OK, 係咁㗎咋，好嘛？ So let's look at some example, past paper examples. Now here, we need to answer these two questions referring to this table. 我哋要返返呢個 table 啦。Okay. Now remember, when you see this kind of table, we need to transform the table into the table that we know. 我哋要將佢變返我哋識嘅樣子啦，好冇？ This is country A, this is country B, and good X, good Y. We have our resources. Now remember, this time it will be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? 1, 1, and 1. Our goal, as always, we want to equalize them. For each country, we need to equalize their resources. Now, but this time it's a little bit different because you look at this question, 47, question 47, with 1 unit of resources. 佢講明係1. So let's try to do it the opposite way. Now this time, we make it all into 1. So how do we do it? Divided by 2. So this one divided by 2. Divided by 3. And divided by 4. Divided by 4. So country A can either produce 1x, right? We have 1x or 1 over 2y. Country B would be 1 over 3x, 1 over 4y. So the answer would be A. Okay? Now, it asks, both countries will gain from trade if 1 unit of x can be exchanged for. 好啦，佢話 1x 俾幾多 y 啦。So let's make it easier. Here, for country A, 1x would be 0.5 y. 係嘛？1同 0.5 啊嘛。Now what about country B? Country B, it would be 1 over 3x equals to 1 over 4y. Meaning, 1x would be, 3 over 4y. And that means 1x will be equal to 0.75y. Now, therefore, we need the number to be between 0.5 and 0.75, which only here. Answer B. 得 B 係佢中間啫，好嘛？嗱 D 又唔講啦，係咪啊？ Okay, so this is the way we do such question. Now again, there is no trick. You just follow this table to do it as usual. Okay, 咁樣做嘅啫，好嘛？好啦，下一條啦。Now, next question. Again, you are given one toy, how many resources? Now, therefore, let's change it into a format that we know. 我哋永遠都係啦，將佢變翻一個我哋識睇嘅 format， 好嘛？ So this would be country A, and this would be country B. 哎呀，撳錯。This would be country B, okay? And toy, watch, here, resources. 嗱，小心啊，唔好抄錯啊。It's 1, 3, 2, and 4. Okay? 好啦 remember our goal is to equalize each country individually, right? Yeah. So how do we equalize them? Times 3, times 3, times 2, and times 2. Okay, so we get the answer. Now let's see. The cost will be 1t equals to 0.33 watch, or 1 watch equals to 3 toy. Now for country B, 1 toy equals to 0.5 watch, or 1 watch equals to 2 toy. So let's see. Country A right now, they would have comparative advantage, and country B would have comparative advantage in making watch. 好嘛？嗱，咁我哋見到啦。So let's see. Oh, actually, we have done this question before, right? So if you want to know it again, check our last video. The answer is actually 1 and 4. 係咪？我哋做過一次啊，唔記得咗添。好啦，嗱 ，the important part is here。我哋將佢吸落嚟啊。Oh no, actually, here. Now, according to the principle of comparative advantage, right? Now, country A, what will they export? Country A will export the thing that it has comparative advantage in, which would be toy in our case. And of course, they would import watches. Yeah. And a mutually beneficial term would be 1t equals to something. So 1t should lie between 0.33 and 0.5, which would give us A as the answer. 得 A 係佢中間啫，同埋 toy 同 watch 係啱嘅。Okay, so the answer would be A for this question. Okay, 好嘛？嗱，唔算好難啫。Now, what about this one? Okay, man hour required. Again, as usual, 好悶，但係都係同一個做法㗎啦，非常之沉悶。Okay, right here. So this would be X. This would be Y. Watch, orange, and then here resources. Now this time is easy. 2248. 係咪好易對啫？ You see, country X, you don't need to do anything. While country Y, you just times 2. Okay, 好嘛？ Then here we get, no, not A, but country X. 1 watch, 1 orange. 1 orange, 1 watch. While country Y will be 1 watch, 0.5 orange, or 1 orange, 2 watch. Okay, 哇，好鬼亂啊！啲 O 啊、W 啊咁啊。So we see, right? In producing watches, 係咪佢淨問 watches 啫 ？So you see, watches, who would have a comparative advantage? It would be Y has a comparative advantage. Now, what about absolute advantage? Now, absolute advantage, remember, look at if you can use fewer resources to produce the same amount, then you have an absolute advantage. So in our case, you see 2 versus 4. This would be absolute advantage. And also orange, 2 versus 8, also absolute advantage. Okay, so that would be country X. 好嘛？唔算特別難啊。Now next question here. Okay, showed you the number, and as usual, we do it our way, 係咪？我哋又係畫翻個我哋識睇嘅 table 啦。嗱，真係嘅，做嚟做去3幅皮嘅咋。It just keep repeating again and again and again. All you need is practice. 你要練啊，所以好嗎？ So it would be 10. That would be 25, 5 and 15. OK， 嗱，今次有啲難成啦，今次係咪啊？ Now let's look at B first. Equalize them times 3. Now this time, how do we equalize? Actually, this one times 2, and this one times 5. And that would give us something like this. Okay, 褪翻少少先啊。And that would give us something like country A would be 1x equals to 2 divided by 5, 0.4. Y or 1y would be 2.5x. For country B, it would be 1x equals to 0.33y, or 1y equals to 3x. Okay, so a mutually beneficial term would be when 1x equals to something, right? It should be between 0.33 and 0.4. So only one of them would work, and that would be answer A. 好冇 ？A 就 work 啦，其他都唔 work 啦。OK，just like that，just like that。Now here next question. Now assuming the labor input requirement for something blah 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 blah， 唔講啦唔講啦。好啦，嗱 this is very important. Suppose there is no transaction cost. Now because in the next and final video we are going to talk about the case when we have a transaction costs. Okay, so something needs to be changed, but let's leave it for next time. Okay, now this time we stick with the question with no transaction cost. Okay, now as usual, we 嗱我哋又係好悶啊，明啊 ？Okay, we just stick with the format that we know. 我哋用翻個我哋明嘅 format 嚇。This is Japan, and this would be Hong Kong. Here we have computer, toy, resources. Then in Japan, this would be 2648. Oh no. So let's equalize them. By equalizing them, times 3, this one times 3, this one times 2, this one times 2, and we know it would be like this. For country A, 1C would be 0.33T, or 1T would be 3C. Now for not country A, this is a Japan, right? Then now for Hong Kong, it will be 1C equals to 0.5T, and 1T equals to 2C. Okay, 好嘛? So which of the following terms would be beneficial to both Hong Kong and Japan, right? Now, of course, we are talking about 1 unit of C. So 1C to something lies between 0.33 to 0.5. Only one answer would work, and that would be our option A. 好冇? Option A. Now, let's skip ahead to the short question. Okay, to the short question. 嗱，應該先翻去做埋17年嗰條嚇。Okay, now for the short question, okay, this one. Now you see, they give you a whole paragraph. 嗱，你中意嘅唔該自己睇下啦。Okay, now but to save our time, okay, not to waste our time, let us present it to ourselves in a more readable format. 都唔知邊個出嘅。係嘛？我都唔知邊個出嘅，係咪？俾咁大段嘢做咩咧 ？Why don't you organize it in a table form？ 係啊 ，so we have assert and we have watch, then we have resources, right？ 好啦 ，country A it will be 2, and country B will be 1, country A will be 10, country B will be 4。OK， 哇，真係天才啊！咁樣易睇幾多啊？ Okay, so how do we equalize them? It will be 5, this will be 5, now this will be 4, and this would be 4. Okay, so immediately we can tell the cost would be for country A, 1S equals to 0.2 watch, or 1 watch equals to 5 cert. 係啦，頭先睇幾都睇唔到啫。So here, 1 cert will be 0.25 watch. 1 watch will be 4 cert. Okay, 好嘛? So immediately we already know the possible range. Now, but remember why I put it here, right? Because I want you to learn how to present the answer. 好呀, now calculate the opportunity cost of producing 1 unit of cert in terms of watch for country A and country B. So A, how do we answer? The opportunity country A's opportunity cost of producing one cert would be, now we know it would be 0.2, right? But how do we get 0.2? Now, very important, right? It would be 2 divided by 10. 你記住，你俾呢啲人睇，人哋唔知做乜㗎。Okay, you need to use the right number to present, and that will be 0.2 watch. Okay, now what about country B? Country B's opportunity cost of producing one cert. Now we know the answer is 0.25, but what are the right numbers? It would be 1 divided by 4， 係嘛？所以呢度咧，我哋寫乘4啦，就唔好就咁寫4字落去啦。Easier for us to refer to. Okay， 好啦 ，so this would be the opportunity cost. Now for B, we state the principle of comparative advantage. 好啦，嗱 ，this one 嗱，你見啊會問㗎 ，in examination it really asks. Therefore, you must recite. Remember, according to the principle, right? When countries specialize, okay, when countries specialize in producing products that they have comparative advantage in. 如果佢集中做有 comparative advantage 嘅 goods，OK， 嗱呢啲重點字眼嚟㗎。Remember the word is total output， 嗱唔係 individual output 啦 ，total output of all countries would increase. Now this is the principle of comparative advantage. Okay, so according to this principle, which country would export cert? 好啦，邊個會 export cert 啊？好啦，嗱 we already know country B has a lower opportunity cost, right? So country B would actually no, country A 睇錯咗，對唔住啊。Country A would export cert as it has comparative advantage in making certs. Okay, so this is how we answer. And finally, for C, find the range of terms of trade over which would be mutually beneficial. We already have the answer. Just remember, the presentation is like this. Now, you can write either 1S or 1W. Okay? 嗱，兩個都得嘅 but remember the way we present would be 0.2 watch and then 夾住咗佢 sandwich 1S and 0.25 watch. Or another answer, another possible answer would be 4S, 1W, 5S. Now this is the way we present the range of terms of trade. Okay, 好唔好啊？所以學咗佢啦。So this is the how we answer. So remember, you know how to do it, but you also need to learn how to present your answer. 你寫個 table 冇人明你做咩㗎，方便自己睇嘅咋。Okay， 好嘛？ So this will be all the questions that we are able to do it by now. So I skip one question, right? Now let's take a look at that question and see why I skip it. Now the following table, very standard, right? But then it says, suppose the transportation cost is something. So you see this time, we have a transportation cost here. So you may be asking the question, how do we deal with that? Now, don't worry. This is exactly what we are going to do for the next video. So for this video, we have looked at the normal type 2 question. So next video, we are going to wrap up this chapter with the advanced questions. Okay, see you again next time.